A quick go live session. I'm on my way home. I am getting on the road early in the morning. I don't know if I ever mentioned it. One of the things that I enjoy driving. All right, that's how I relax. And so my brother, and my sister-in-law are going to take a quick trip out of town. And so I'm going to be driving the first leg. I took my car in and got the works done on it. They rotated the tires, changed the oil for me, and got me road ready. So I've just been running around doing a few errands. Not looking too good. I'm going to have to go home and do a little maintenance here. I kept saying I was going to color my hair, but that hasn't happened, but that's okay. And so I thought I would do a little talk about... Uh-oh, I got lost for a minute. I hope that's better. All right. I am going to do just a little brief talk on my way home. It's 7:22 in Michigan. And so I'm going to talk as I make my way home. There's a lot of 4th of July traffic out here, and I'm not going to get on the freeway, so it's going to take me a half hour. And I usually like to keep them at a half hour. And today I want to talk about protection for Black women. Okay, and this goes back to the events happening in Chicago a few days back with the mother and son, and the gentleman who lost his life. And there's been a lot of discussion about protecting Black women, or the lack of protection for Black women. And I'm going to put my 2 cents in here. Okay. One of the things that I will say is that there was a time when protecting Black women was a priority from the men in our community. All right. And to a certain extent, it is still there. Okay. It is there with older men. It is there with men who really like Black women. All right. And as much as people would like to believe it is all men, it is not, of course. Men who understand that, okay, if you have a Black woman in your life, if you have a mother, aunties, cousins, sisters, daughters, granddaughters out here walking around in the world by themselves, that they may need the protection of someone at some point. Okay. And if you are of our culture, then expectation would be for some man who looks like us to take up that spot. And so those men are willing to step up. Now, I know some of us are like, there's none of them, but that's not true. There are men who lose their lives. And there was one not too long ago. A girl was at work, a young woman was at work. A man was giving her a hard time. And she's like, can you just walk me to my car? This gentleman who was married, had a family, said, okay, no problem. He walked her to her car. And the guy that was stalking her, when he was going back in the building, hit him with his car, and he was unalived. Okay, this was a gentleman who gave his life to help a woman that looks like us. All right, just because she needed help. Okay, and there are others. You don't see a lot of it. You don't see people talking about it. People act like it never happens, but it does. Right? So there are men out there who will protect us. All right. Now let's talk for a little bit about the men that you see doing podcasts, doing videos, doing lives a lot of time about, I'm not doing it because she's not my family. Now, of course, these gentlemen have absolutely no foresight. Okay. If there are women who look like us in their lives, they seem to forget that those women walk about in this world all by themselves, just like the women who they do not know. Okay? They walk about, and if they are out by themselves and need some assistance, I am sure these gentlemen would want very much for someone to step in to help them. All right? But the gentlemen who are talking have no foresight, or they have no women in their lives that need protecting. Okay? There are men in this world who are angry at women that look like us, angry at women in general, angry and bitter at the world. Okay? But that is not all men. All right? So we cannot judge every man by those men. All right? And I know they're the loud ones holding the speakers and screaming and yelling and doing all this other business where, you're like, it must be everybody. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not everybody. And I don't believe it's even most. because most men realize, the men particularly who are in relationship with women who look like us, understand that, hey, out there is, my loved one is out there walking around, and I want someone to step in for them, so I need to step in on occasion for women who I do not know, who look like us. Now, if you'll notice, a lot of times they have absolutely no problem stepping in for women of other races. Because I've seen enough videos where it's like, okay, there's a big black guy standing between some angry white guy and an angry white woman. Because, yeah. So, I know that those men are out there. I don't know that they will not step in when it involves a woman that looks like us. But I know that they do step in for other races of women automatically. So I cannot say that I don't know what the ratio is. I can only tell you what I have seen on occasion in videos that people have published. So I also want to tell you about a video where I saw that these ladies were all in Walmart, okay? And I found it was really interesting. Now, this was all women. All right, they're all cashiers at a Walmart, and there was a gentleman, this color, at one of the cashiers acting up. He was loud, he was rude, he was talking about his receipt, and let me tell you what I saw. There were probably half a dozen women. There was the woman who was his cashier. Immediately, the supervisor comes over and stands next to her. Now, there was the person that was filming who took the film, and then in front of her, two women moved in. All of them were employees, and they're standing there. So it wasn't a case of you're not going to do this in a hidden space, okay? There was at least 5 or 6 women who were standing around. There were no men. And if we can't do anything else, we can witness and tape what's going to happen, and we're not going to leave her standing there by herself, all right? Now, I would say 5 of the 6 women look like us. I think one was another culture, but I can't readily remember at this point. They have formed a plan already before this gentleman showed up. This is how we react to people like this. When these people get loud, when these people get raucous, when these people may do something untoward towards one of us, baby, we all circle the wagons. We all stand ready. I mean, if you got 5 or 6 of us, baby, we might not be able to do too much. We can pick up a can of green beans and slam it upside somebody's head if we need to. Or, somebody that's taping has got, because taping is important, okay? Because when, the cops show up later, this person can't lie and said, oh, they all ganged up on me. No, sir, you started this mess. We taped it. All right. And so I always think it's good that, you have somebody holding up their phone. All right. Holding up their phone. We got it on tape. All right. And I think that's kind of how we have to kind of look at things. We cannot always, because suppose in this case, I don't believe there were any men at all even there. But this one man, again, who looks like this, was getting loud and getting raucous, like he was getting ready to do something. And the group of women surrounded this one cashier, because she was the one that was having the problem with him. He was complaining about his bill, and and of course sometimes these things lead to violence. Now, I don't believe at that point it did, but someone else noted in the comment of that video that, oh wow, look at them, they had a coordinated plan. All right, because you can't tell me that many people showed up that quickly unless they had a plan. All right, because there was the person with the phone, 2 people who moved in, there was the cashier. Now, back over behind the cashier on the other side, there was some more people standing around. All of them were wearing the blue vest. That's how I knew they all worked there, okay? So they were all wearing the blue vest. And so this is how this group of women decided, this is what we're going to do when we have a problem, okay? We're not going to act like nothing is happening. We're not going to act like somebody else is going to take care of it. We're not going to act like this person may not need assistance. We know if only support, us standing there with them so that they're not by themselves while this person, is going off or getting ready to do whatever it is they're getting ready to do. And once this man looked around and saw that there were like 6 women standing and staring at him, and one of them's holding a phone. Now, I believe the person holding the phone, because I think they were talking. I don't remember exactly, but I think they were talking, so I think it was a woman. Hey, sir, you're not getting ready to get out of pocket, with this woman all by herself. You're going to have witnesses. There's a person taping, and he looked around, and he did not cause as big of a problem as I think he could have had she been alone, okay? Because he did look around and see that she was not by herself, all right? And I think it's important that we try and get that kind of a plan going when we go out, because the old rule was when you went out, 5 of us come in here, all 5 of us leave. I don't care what you do after you get back home, but we all come here, we all leave together, all right? Now I've been in some situations where, baby, we had to drag some folks out the car. We literally were dragging people out of cars because they done got carried away with whoever they didn't know. Everybody goes home together, all right? We do not leave each other out in the cold. Hi, Goddess. Happy Friday to you, too. And so it takes some planning, but you can do it. And that means that when one of us gets up, that means we watch each other's drinks. There's no such thing as I'm going to go out with my friends and somebody comes and puts a freak, where'd that come from? No, throw that mess away. We will throw some mess away. We didn't order this. We don't know if this is not a place we're familiar with. No, we're not taking no outside drinks. We come prepared to pay for our own drinks. Okay, so we're not taking your drink. Or if we know the bartender, because you go to a place often enough, you get to know the bartender. Okay, that's Joe. Joe's gonna take care of us. He ain't gonna put nothing in our drinks. That kind of a thing. So this can happen, and it does happen. But you do have to plan for it. If you are a woman in the world alone and you are concerned about your safety, you have to provide for your own safety. Now, I've been out with women, and girl, there's always somebody packing, all right? And they'll tell you, everybody know Joanne. Joanne got that big old purse, but in that purse there's some heat in that purse, okay? There's some heat in that purse. She might not never pull it out, but we all know she got one because she tell you. All right, I got the heat. That's all we need to know. If something jump off, Joanne got the heat. And in Michigan, it's licensed concealed carry. So you can conceal carry, and it'll be in the bottom of that big old purse. But baby, you just don't want her to hit you with it because it might go off. All right, do what is necessary. All right, and you have to make plans. Like, okay, when I go out at night, I try not to park my car in places that I'm unsure of. If you have valet parking, baby, I'm using it. Like I spend a lot of time at the hospital, and late at night I'm like, okay, the hospital parking lot might not be the most unsafe place, but it's dark. I don't see that well at night, and so I valet park my car. And then what time valet close? Okay, that means when I leave whoever I'm seeing, I'll call down and say I'm getting ready to come down, so that my car is ready. I don't do things in a way that's haphazard, and you have to do that. Okay, you have to take the time to plan for yourself so that you can be as safe as you can. And when we all part, me and my friends, when we go out, we're going to check to make sure everybody got home, because we're going to houses, we're going to apartments, we're going to townhouses. Some of us have a 10-minute drive, some of us have a 25-minute drive. Everybody get home, okay? And you need to do that. If we need to get gas, we all get gas at the same time. If we can. Now, sometimes we're coming from different places and we cannot. But let's say we're, like I'm right across from the shopping mall. There's a shopping mall here, and there's a gas station here. We need to go gas station before we go on home. And so we all gonna go out here together. There'll be 4 cars pulling in, 5 cars pulling in, because so-and-so needs to get some gas. Well, we all go into the gas station, okay? And then when we leave, we all leave together. See, that's how we do it. We all stick together all the time, all right? Now, let's take a few minutes and let's talk about the men who are on podcasts, the men who are doing lives, who are talking about how they are not going to protect women who look like us. Okay, we just, okay. And if you notice, they're the only ones talking, okay? No other group of men do that. I'm gonna say that again. No other group of men do that. So it is only this group of men who are angry and bitter and, oh, there's a gentleman in the middle of the street playing a horn. Okay, so that's what you hear. That's not the radio. These men are angry and bitter women. They don't like women. They don't like their mother. They don't like women who look like us. They just don't like women. Okay, and what I would say is just take real close note of their language. Because if you meet them, and you will if you're out here dating, and just listen to how they sound, because these are the men we want to avoid, okay? There is a deep-seated hatred of women that we can't do anything about, okay? A deep-seated hatred. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know why they hate women. I don't know why, yeah, passing the guy with the horn. They hate their mother, because your mother is the first person in your life. And I watched my father raising my brothers, and I was talking to one of my brothers about this. And he says, well, one of the things that Dad taught me was that you take care of your mother, okay? When y'all go out, I expect you to protect your mother and your sisters. And I know people these days seem to think that's weird, but the first thing a boy learns is to protect his mother and his sisters. He is their first protectors. When I was coming up, my brothers were my first protectors, because I would have to go out and my mother would call, hey, go with your sister. So I would be followed wherever it was I had to go by at least two of my brothers. And they, long suffering. Oh, we don't want to go. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, but they did it, because, yeah, that's what you do. You follow your sister, all right? You go with her, all right? And they were my first protectors, all right? And I remember, now this is some years ago, I was out at a mall, and our community has a lot of people who are of Arab descent in it. And there was a group of girls walking. There's maybe three of them. And they're walking and they're talking, probably 13, 14 years old. And you know how girls do. And then right behind them, there was probably 6 boys. And at first I thought, oh, maybe those are boyfriends or something. And then I realized what it was. Those were probably brothers and cousins, okay? Mom dropped them off at the mall and said, follow them. Right? Because the girls were like, blah, 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 like girls do, but the boys were like stoic face, like, okay, nobody comes over here, okay? Yeah, we are the first line of defense, because that is how men learn to protect women. And in that culture, they are very protective of their women. They don't send them out into the world by themselves, especially not to the shopping mall where there's a lot of crazy folks at. So, again, the group that you see talking on podcast and lives and whatever, they are in the minority, all right? No other group of men does that. But the loud and the wrong, that's what I call it. It's like a soap opera. The loud and the wrong will swear up and down that this is it, this is how it's done. These are just broken men. Broken men. Now, I think it's important to say they are broken, but they still want women. Hear me now. They are broken, but they still want women, okay? They want women. They will chase women. They trying to find women. They stalking women. They dating women. So it's not like these men are off doing something without women. They still want women, all right? But these are the men who you cannot trust to protect you. Because if you are on the side of the gentleman who did the hitting in Chicago, baby, there's something wrong with you. In your brain, it is okay to hit a woman who's talking. Now, there's no crime in talking. It's just talking. And for the life of me, I cannot understand what makes a man think it is okay to hit a woman who is talking. She's not hitting you. She's talking. And it doesn't matter if she's talking to you, the person next to her. It doesn't matter who she's talking to. It does not matter. It does not, under any circumstances, give a man the right to hit her. All right? It just doesn't. And the fact that there are men defending him hitting her, they are men who are angry that he was unalived, is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. And I always keep this in the back of my mind. And men, when I tell men this, they seem like they're shocked. They seem like they're shocked. Men have the ability to unalive a woman single-handedly without a weapon. Women, most women don't have that ability. I don't have that ability. Unless I have a weapon, I do not have the ability to unalive a man. I just don't. It's not possible, physically possible, unless I've got some special training or I've got some sort of weapon. some sort of something to help me, okay, some sort of tool to help me, I have no way that I can unalive a man with my bare hands, all right? But they have that ability all by themselves. And when I discuss it, they're like, well, that's not true. I go, sure it is. A man can wrap his fingers around a woman's neck and unalive her within a matter of minutes. He can hit her hard enough to unalive her. And women are very cognizant of this. We typically do not physically challenge a man for that reason. We cannot win. That's a fight we cannot win. Unless we are armed, that's a fight we can't win, all right? And there are men who still firmly believe that you are justified in hitting a woman who is talking. And those are the men who are dangerous, okay? Because those are the men that when you get into a relationship with, they don't have a problem hauling off, hitting you because you say something they don't like. For them, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to be buying gas in a few minutes, so I'm going to pull in here. And that translates into you cannot trust them. You cannot trust them because they will justify that she was talking as their excuse. So a woman talking to them is the same thing as a man hitting a woman. Think about that. Let's see what the questions are. I didn't know she goes live. Nice treat on the crazy Friday full moon on the 3rd. Hi, S. Jones. Oh, and let's talk about self-control, okay? Let's talk about self-control. You're absolutely right, S. Jones. Most of them have absolutely zero self-control. And self-control is taught, all right? I'll talk about my son, because I always talk about my son. Those of you who don't know, my son is on the autism scale, okay? He has Asperger's syndrome. That was his diagnosis when he's 8 years old. And there were periods where he and I had to get it together about his lack of self-control. He would be playing a video game, and he would be having the feeling like, no. Here, give me that controller, give me that game. We're going to put this over here, and you need to sit down and think about some stuff, all right? We're not going to get angry to the point of breaking things, jumping up and down and screaming. If you cannot control yourself, then you cannot play this game. When I tell you no, it's still no, even if you don't like it. And we went through this through his teenage years, all right? And never in his life has he threatened me. Never. All right? That just never happened. But he did have to learn self-control. And somewhere down back in their life, these men have absolutely no self-control. And so what they do is they blame women for their lack of self-control. Let me say that again. They blame women for their lack of self-control. Sir, you have no self-control. It don't have nothing to do with me. As mad as I get, I will never haul off and hit a man. I just won't. I have enough self-control that I'm just not going to do it. If you are a man who lacks self-control, that is a him issue. It's not a her issue. It's not a woman's issue. Because self-control is just that. Can you control yourself? And if you cannot, that is not a woman's fault. That is a man's fault. That is whoever it is that cannot seem to have any self-control. I'm looking around because it was, where did he go? Oh, there was a police car I saw go by. Well, maybe it was a security car. I'm like, is he behind me? Where'd he go? I guess he disappeared. All right. So lack of self-control is huge. All right. And if a man does not learn self-control as a young man, he is going to go into life making some huge mistakes. That's why a lot of men end up in prison. I did this, and you end up unaliving somebody because you can't control your temper. What the heck? What the heck? And so, no, that's unacceptable behavior. I did a video a long time ago about testing men. What happens when a man gets angry? Now, I'm 61. I've never been hit by a man. But closest I have ever came is when I tried one of my tests on a gentleman. We were sitting at dinner, and I said something out of pocket, something that I knew would make him angry. And he looked at me, and he looked like he was going to come across the table. And that told me right there, oh, we never going to date again. I can't even tell you what it was. It was something that I could apologize for later. Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke, because I'll do that. I'm sorry. I misspoke. But that's how I do it. I wanted to see how this gentleman would do, because there was something about him that was like that, that nervous energy of people who can't seem to control themselves. They fidgety a bit, and I don't know, just something about them. And so I tried that. I did it in a restaurant. It was I think it was our second date. And the look in his face told me that if we were not in the restaurant, that I might have gotten some blowback. All right. But we were in public in a big restaurant, and he just looked angry, and he balled up his fist. I'm like, okay, that told me everything I need to know. So men who have no self-control, you can't date them, because when things get out of control, they act like the situation is in charge. The situation made me lose my control. No, it didn't. You don't have any control. There are situations that are happening that are awful, all right? Awful, terrible, and more awful. And you decide how you react, okay? If you cannot make a decision on how you react, that means that you are out of control of your body. This big masculine body, and you will take it out on whoever is near you, which is a woman, a child, whoever. And then you will blame them for making you get out of control. Sir, nobody made you get out of control. That's not how this works. That's your body, and you are always in control of it. So you cannot blame a woman for your lack of control. The video was so terrible. Because I think he hit her more than once. And then they did say, I'm trying to think what I heard, because I didn't listen to a lot, but they were like, I think some of the witnesses said that he came there and he was out of control. And, she was trying to keep her son away, and he is not even cognizant enough to be able to really, she's not even talking to you. She's talking to her son. So I think that when you meet these men who are out here on these podcasts, out here on these lives, try to be very aware of, do they say something like, well, I lost my temper, or, she made me do it. She made me do it. Baby, if she didn't drag you with chains, she didn't make you do nothing. Not nothing. Let's see. Hi, Lady Nubia. Hi, ZT. Lack of self-control and no sexual discipline. He had multiple DV charges and boasted about them on his Facebook page. Wow. Really? I did not know that. Yeah. Lack of self-control. And those two go hand in hand. All right? Because you will hear men who say one, say the other. If you cannot control your urges, if you cannot control your body, you are in trouble as a man. That's how a lot of men end up in prison. That is how a lot of men end up in prison, all right? Because they cannot control their body, or they will not control their body, or they blame, oh, well, he made me mad, so I had to shoot him. He made me mad, so I had to beat the crap and life out of him. It's the other person's fault that this man lost control of himself. And that's not how this works. Your body is your responsibility. And again, this is a discussion I had with my son when he was a teenager. No, son. Well, I got mad. No. Your body, you are in control of your body 24/7. 24/7. There is no such thing as I lost control. You chose. You made a decision about what you're going to do when someone said something to you that you didn't like. You made a decision about how you were going to react. Because, yes, you made a split second, but that's not how this world works. That's not how your body works. I could be looking at someone over here and say, that person, they don't look like they like me. Put my car in park, hit the gas, and run over them and say, I just lost control. No, that's not how this works. We don't just lose control. That's not how this works. I made a decision, I made a choice, and I decided to put my car in park and run over somebody. Hello, Nachama. Oh, thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a happy 4th. So no, that's not how this works. And men sometimes think that they are different from women in this respect, because women get just as angry as men. Okay, we can get just, our tempers will flare, but we have to have some control because our bodies are smaller and weaker. So because we realize that we can't win this fight, because there's no point in me getting up and act like I'm gonna beat somebody up. Okay, that does not happen. So I have to look at this situation and be realistic. Yeah, this man is doing some out-of-pocket stuff. He's doing some crazy stuff. I can't hit him because I hurt myself more than I hurt him. I'm going to have to figure out some other route. And a lot of times, that is what we have to do. We have to figure out some other route. Whereas these men act like there is only one route. The only route I have is to beat the daylights out of somebody or pull out my gun. And again, that's one of the things that you see going on in the city, all right? You see, and I think some of it is unplanned, a lot of it is planned, but, road rage. Somebody gives me a problem while I'm driving, and all of a sudden, somebody is pulling out a weapon to harm somebody. It's like, what just happened? You decided in that moment that it was appropriate to pull out a weapon because somebody cut you off? That's not that. No. And so that's why you have these instances of road rage where people end up losing their life because lack of self-control. That's how you get men who, when you tell them no, you don't want to sleep with them. All of a sudden you get SA'd because they can't handle no. They can't handle that, they are not getting their way, that things are not going the way that they want. Lack of sexual discipline, lack of self-control. Yeah, those are the men who have one typically have both, all right? They have these issues. And a lot of those men end up in prison, which is quite frankly where they belong, okay? If you as a man cannot control your body, then somebody else has to control it for you, which means you need to be in a box somewhere with somebody else controlling your movements because you didn't take the responsibility of controlling your own body. And then you can be in the company of other men just like you. Y'all can all be in there together. All of y'all who lack self-control, and leave us, people walking around who can control ourselves to be on our own. So, exactly, yeah, you can't honk your horn because it's craziness. It is craziness. Now, the lack of self-control is something that I watch a lot of videos. In fact, I don't even watch regular TV anymore. I've been watching videos for years. And so sometimes I'll watch the road rage videos, and it'll be something like, okay, this person's driving, and the trucker ones are crazy because who cuts off a truck? You cutting off a 16-wheeler because you're mad? That shows a level of not only lack of self-control, but not even thinking. If you cut off a 18-wheeler, baby, he run over you. And that's what happens sometimes because they can't stop. But in your brain, you thought it was smart to cut off a truck that cannot stop. A lot of times they pull in front so close, the truck driver can't even see them. It's like, what is wrong with you? So yeah, be very cautious out there when, you are dating these men. And a lot of times they will tell on themselves because, quite frankly, a lot of these folks are not very smart. Once you get them talking, they'll tell you some stuff, make the hair stand up on the back of your head. You'll be like, what in the world? Oh, I was with my girl and she said some stuff out of pocket. And next thing I know, they arrested me, but that wasn't my fault. What happened? What happened? Yeah, you want, I listen to people's stories and it is like really weird because they honestly believe that it is not their fault, that they have no self-control. But yeah, that's why there's cages for men. You don't have no self-control, let somebody else control your actions because you cannot control them yourself. And when I listen to these men, there is something wrong. I pasted a video on about an Italian guy when he talks about his dad is like, hey, don't let nobody disrespect your mother. No, And when I came up, that was a big thing. You don't disrespect somebody's mother. You don't disrespect older people. But these young people, a lot of these men are like, they could care less. All right. And it is really sad, you know, that they have no respect for anything. So that means they can't really be trusted, because nothing is sacred to them. Okay. The woman in their life, if she say wrong thing, he'll haul off and hit her. Nothing is sacred. At no point is he I don't want to say, at no point is he responsible for his own physical reactions. He is going to say, you made me mad. You did something to make me get angry and do these things. You are responsible for my reactions. And when you are dealing with people like that, they will never take responsibility for their own action, because some people don't even want to admit that they have any responsibility. It is your fault that I'm angry. No, sir, it is your fault that you're angry. All right, it is your fault that you lost control of your body. I personally, if that's what you want to call it, you made a choice to me. You made a choice that it was okay to be violent with this person, because a lot of times you will see them where in a moment, they don't have a problem hitting a woman, but let a man stand up in front of them. All of a sudden, they have control of their body now. All of a sudden, they have control of their mouth now. All of a sudden, the things that they were going to do are not so urgent. All of a sudden, it's just like, no, sir, you are fooling yourself if you think that that's true, because we can clearly see that when a man jumps in front of you, especially if he's bigger than you or younger than you, that all of a sudden you gain control. When you go to work every day, you have enough control where you can follow directions and listen and hold your tongue so you can keep your job. You're not out, because you might come home every night, I hate my job, I hate blah, blah, blah. But you don't go in there hitting folks, do you? No, because you need to keep your job. Your lack of control only seems to come into play with weaker people, with women, all right? Because, and then you blame her for your lack of control when you were fine being able to control yourself at your job. You were fine when you went in the bar and started a fight and a guy twice your size stood up to you. All of a sudden, yeah, you don't have nothing to say. So this conversation about lack of control is really only lack of control when it comes to women. Okay, if it was with everybody, they would already be in jail. Because if you have the temper that everything makes you mad, then that means that you should be mad all the time, because everything makes you mad and you have no self-control. But no, you don't take it out on your friends. You don't take it out on your buddies. You don't take it out when men are around. You only take it out on women. All right, does anyone have any questions? Let's see. You can't even honk your horn anymore. Yep, and they can be told when to eat and where to sleep. Yep, that's it. Just like the man saying the mom is responsible for him losing his temper. Yeah, nobody is responsible for your temper. Your temper is yours. It is personal to you. A lot of stuff that folks like, when people cut me off, I might be angry for a minute, but I'm not even going to stop my car. Whew, glad I got around that. I'm not the kind of person who honks their horn or follow nobody or give you a finger. I don't do none of that. You know why? Because me and my car, we're good. We're just going to keep going. I'm not going to, because what? What is that going to do? I'm going to come and follow you and honk my horn and flip you off and roll down the window. We've got people doing crazy stuff. People, for a while here, there was such a rash of shootings on the freeway. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't even take that freeway, because a couple of these freeways are ones that I would take if I were going into the city. I'm like, I can't go that way, because people can't seem to keep their temper on that freeway. And there's a big freeway, but it was happening in like the same spot over and over again. I'm like, I don't understand it, where they would have road rage. All right, are we at the 30 minutes? Oh, we're over. We're at 39. Does anyone have any questions for me? This talk was something that I really wanted to get out, because I firmly believe that it is only this small group of men who are angry at women, who are angry at their mothers, who have there's something wrong with them. All right. Like I said, when I would listen to my dad and I talked to my brother, and he said, that was one of the things, that's one of the first things that hit my dad taught my brothers, but hey, it's important that you watch out for your mother and your sisters. When you out there, I expect you to watch out for your mother. That's your job. That is like literally your job. And fathers teach their sons that. The angry men walking around, women don't deserve protection. That's craziness. That's when I hear it, my brain just kind of, I can't even believe it, because that's something that I know that my brothers were taught when they were very young. That is part of who you are. You protect your sisters. And when I see the groups in the mall where, that phalanx of boys is following their sisters and their cousins, like looking around, that's their job. Somebody gave them the job. Protect your sisters. Protect them. When I send you to the mall, you don't go wandering off all over the mall by yourself. So you see them in a row. There'll be like a group of girls, and then behind them, there's a group of boys. And they all look, similar. So I'm like, oh, those are their protectors. Whoever sent them to the mall sent the girls and told the boys to protect them, follow them. So the boys aren't walking around over here, doing, no. Your job is to follow these girls and make sure they get back to this car. Somebody, mom or dad, gave them that order. And baby, they took it seriously, because you see them, there's like a group of 7 or 8, there's 3 or 4 girls, right behind there's 5 or 6 boys. So there are other cultures who they teach their children that early. For my son, I didn't even have to teach him, baby. He did that from a toddler. I can remember going to the grocery store. Now, he's a baby sitting in the cart, and I'm in the grocery store shopping, and a man comes up and starts talking to me, and baby, he was having a fit. And I'm like, what's wrong? Because my son is always, I used to call him Buddha. He was so quiet. He was a peaceful, quiet little baby. But get too close, oh, he was having a fit. The guy was like, wow, he's upset. I'm like, he's not normally like that. No, baby, you can't get too close. And when I go out with him now, same way. You can't get too close, all right? Again, I didn't teach him that. That is something he might have learned from other people, but it's not even something that I had to teach him, because it came so naturally to him. Let's see, what does it say? Nachama, my dad and the men in my family take such good care of me and make sure I always have what I need. When I see the way certain people act, I think, why would I even give you 2 seconds of my attention? Good point. So sad to see, honestly. Grown people acting like children. I pray for better future for all of us. Me too, Nachama. I agree, because, baby, this don't make no sense. And the loud and the wrong have taken over the microphone. So, I don't think that it is all men, not by any stretch. It is just this broken little group of men with microphones screaming, oh, this is the way it is. We're not going to. And I remember seeing a video, this is like months ago, about a young man. And I thought about doing a reply, but I thought, what, it's kind of a waste of time. Because he was like, well, we'll protect you if you stop talking bad about us. And I thought about it. I never did do a response, but it's like, really? That's what you think? Somewhere in your brain, that's how that works. So you have a sister and she's mad at her husband. It's okay for him not to protect her. That's what you're saying. She get out of pocket with her words, he can haul off and hit her, right? You're okay with that. See, there's no logic in their thinking. There's no logic in the way that they're responding. They are following that red pill manosphere, and it is only red pill manosphere for men who look like us. When you watch the other races talk red pill manosphere, no, baby. They do not ever say, we're not going to protect women. They do not ever say that we're going to leave you out here by yourself. They do not ever say that. It is only the men who look like us. If you ever get a chance, go sit in on some of them. Now, a lot of it is just a bunch of baloney. It is basically a bunch of old men who conned a bunch of young men. This is how it works. Because it was really interesting. I bought a couple of books because I'm big on books. I bought a book called The Rational Male. I think it's by Rollo Tomasi, and I bought a couple of other ones. But what these guys are saying, and now Rollo Tomasi has been married for many, many years, all right? He is by no stretch of the imagination a playboy. He is by no stretch of the imagination a psychologist, a therapist. What he did was he wrote a book and said, this is how it is. Even though this man hasn't been in the dating pool for like 35 or 40 years. Okay, he did this book and told all these men, this is how you act. And then I saw an interview with him once where he was telling men, oh, well, if I was single, I could get over. And it's like, he is not an attractive man. He's old. He's bald. He always wears this big cap. He has this weird gray ponytail. It's like, no, sir, you're deluding yourself. And if any man is watching you and believing this, it's a con. This is a con, okay? Straight up con. Because there's no way you're going to catch women. You look like everybody's grandpa. It's like, no. But men believe him, and that's all that really matters. So he's telling men that this is how you catch women, even though he's never caught a woman. He's been married for, forever. So it's not like he's in the dating pool. It's not like he's ever been in the dating pool. If he was, it was so long ago, it looks nothing like it looks now. But they believe him. And a lot of the earlier followers, there are people who are out here who are just like, look, I want to show you what this man who swears he can get all these women. This is a picture of his wife. This is a picture of his girlfriend. Regular, normal, everyday women, middle-aged, just like us. And they're like, these people are running a con. They are telling people this is a con game because he's telling you this is how you get hot women. He can't get a hot woman. But, the rationality is not there. They are not saying, okay, show me the proof that this works. There is no proof because it doesn't work. I sold you a bill of goods so I get rich. I'm selling you books. I'm selling you concerts. I'm selling you podcasts. I'm selling you whatever it is I'm selling you because you are a hopeless individual and you will listen to me and anybody else who just talks about this topic. So that's another topic. We'll have to talk about red pill. I'll have to do it because I did for a number of years. I read quite a few books and I still sit in and listen to a lot of podcasts that these jokers are doing. And it is like, this is money. This is the grift. These men are raking in bank, basically selling these men a dream. And I did a video over on TikTok earlier where a lot of men are going to die alone because they believe this stuff. They're going to believe red pill manosphere, and this is the way I treat women, and this is how you do it. They're going to die alone because what they're basically advocating is treat women like crap and they'll love you. It's like, that's not how this works, sir. You treat women like crap, they won't touch you with a 10-foot pole. But they believe, the lie that, oh, if I can just I'll make her. I'm like, you're not going to make a grown woman do nothing. You're not going to make a grown woman. You're going to make a grown woman listen to you, call her names, treat her badly, and then expect her to sleep with you. That's not how this works, sir. That's not how this works. So a lot of them will die alone because they believed all of the stuff that they're believing right now. But getting back to the men who don't protect women, if you listen to them, listen to what they say. That lack of self-control, the fact that they, have a deep-seated hatred of women, dislike of women, that, is a signal that, these men really, nobody should be dating these men because that's not normal. What they are saying is not normal, all right? Even men who don't like me protect me, all right? Even men who don't like me will protect me. I live in a community. My next door neighbor, when he moved in, it took him 5 years to talk to me. I had already been here I think 10 years. He moves in, and he don't say nothing. His girlfriend didn't like me. He got rid of her, got a new girlfriend who was very nice. She's a sweet lady. She and I talk all the time. And finally, he started talking, all right? But when there's an issue, he comes and knocks on my door. Hey, did you know this is happening? Did you know this is going on? I just want to let you know they're doing this. Oh, no, I didn't know that. He don't like me, and he still come over and talk to me and tell me what's going on in the neighborhood that I might not know about. Oh, they're getting ready to do something with the street over here. I just want to let you know they're going to be parking in front of your house. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So it is more natural for men to do that than it is to think the way that a lot of these jokers think. There are so many black men who know how to be the perfect woman. Ooh. He doesn't even like women. Honestly. But buy his master class. Exactly. You don't even like women. Oh, I'm going to have to do another one because I did see another video of a guy who was like telling women that, oh, you just need, what was he saying? You just need correction. And if you haven't met a man who's corrected you, then you really haven't met a man. And I'm like, that's straight out of the Pimp Bible. That's straight. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I did a video over on TikTok. I haven't moved it over because they are dinging my videos left and right. So my videos are getting taken down on YouTube because I'm using their clips and they don't like that. So I'm going to have to figure out another way to do it. I may have to just, tell you what they said. But yeah, I think I've had 3 now taken down where they're like, well, we don't like you using our video clips. And I'm not really willing to fight because I could fight it. But I'm like, you know what? This is a hobby channel for me. It is. It's fun. It's entertaining for me. And I'm helping some women understand what's going on. So it's not really worth it to me to go through the rigmarole of challenging this. If this was a big money making channel, I might, but it doesn't. It's a hobby channel. Oops. That's my son calling me. I'll call him back in a few minutes. But yeah, I'll have to do a video on that where these guys, they've been reading the Pimp Bible. That's what it is. It is. I call it that because Dave Chappelle mentions it in one of his specials. That this is the Pimp Bible, and all you have to do is read it, and men are like literally reading it and trying to follow it. So they think they pimp daddy. Oh, I'm gonna correct you because you need some correction, and I'm like, yes, I'll have to do a video on that because it's like this is crazy. This is crazy. But if you're a young woman, you don't know that. You don't know that this is straight out the Pimp Bible. That this is men trying to manipulate you, trying to get you to fall in line with, the pimp line of thinking. I'll do a video on it. I might do it during this week of vacation because, yeah, it's going to take me an hour because, but I'm not going to hold you. I am at 51 minutes, which is like twice as long as I've ever done it. Thank you all so much for coming to my live. I appreciate you so much. Let's see. ZT, you're a love. Thank you. Yes, we need a video and live talking about those red pills. Oh my gosh. I have consumed so much red pill. It is like when I hear him talking, my brain starts to melt. But thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all so much. I hope everybody has an awesome 4th of July. I may come back and do a live while I'm out, driving, visiting my brother and sister-in-law. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for showing up for me. I appreciate you all. Be safe out here.